Welcome back, Alphas. I know you've been through hell and back. You've had your moments where it felt like everything was closing in on you, where the world seemed like it was about to swallow you whole. But that's the thing. It didn't. You didn't let it. You didn't let the noise drown you out. You didn't let the chaos break you. You're still here standing tall, stronger, more lethal than ever before. You've thrown a wrench into their game, and now they're falling apart. They don't know it yet, but they're already done. Everything they built, everything they thought they controlled, is crumbling. And they have you to thank for it. When they first saw you, they underestimated you. They thought you were just another face in the crowd, another pawn to be moved around the board. But they were wrong. They thought they had the power, the influence, the strategy to stay on top forever. But they didn't see you coming. They didn't see the fire in your eyes. They didn't see the rage behind your calm exterior. They didn't understand the storm you were about to unleash. You didn't just play their game. You bent the rules. You tore down their walls. You kicked their doors open and showed them that they were never the ones in control. They thought they could manipulate you, use you, toss you aside when you no longer served their purpose. They thought they had you cornered. But what they didn't realize is that you were never playing by their rules. You were playing a game they couldn't even comprehend. You didn't just survive their traps, their lies, their manipulations. You turned them into weapons. Every setback, every betrayal, every lie they threw at you became another piece of fuel for the fire that's burning their world down to the ground. They thought they could break you, but you broke them. The moment they made the mistake of underestimating you, they sealed their own fate. They thought they were untouchable, but you showed them the truth. No one is untouchable. No one is safe, not from the wrath of someone who has nothing left to lose. They watched as you silently built your strength, your resilience, while they were busy taking the easy route, playing the game by the book. You were in the shadows, crafting your own path. You were plotting, preparing, evolving in ways they couldn't even begin to understand. Every battle you fought with a purpose. Every challenge you overcame, you learned, you adapted, you became something they could never prepare for. You were no longer just a threat. You were the end of their game. And now, as they scramble to try and salvage what's left, they realize too late that they can't. They thought they had control, but that was their biggest mistake. Control is an illusion. Power is fleeting. They never realized that the true strength lies in resilience, in adaptation, in being able to throw the game back in their faces. You've become the force that disrupts everything they believed in. You've become the chaos they can't control. They will try to fight back. They will try to regroup, to strategize, to rebuild their empire. But it's already too late. The foundation they built was never solid. It was built on lies, on manipulation, on shortcuts. They thought they could get away with it forever. But now, all of it is collapsing. The cracks are showing. The walls are closing in. And you're standing at the epicenter, watching it all unravel. They don't understand yet. They don't understand why they're failing. They don't understand that it's because of you. They don't understand that everything they've built was always doomed because it wasn't built to last. It was built on the bones of those they discarded, on the backs of those they stepped on to get to the top. They thought they could play God, but they forgot one thing. They never realized that there's always a bigger force at play. There's always someone waiting for the right moment to strike, and that someone was you. It doesn't matter how much money, power, or influence they have. It doesn't matter how many allies they think they have in their corner. When the truth starts to surface, when the lies begin to unravel, when the walls start to crumble, none of that will matter. They will fall apart. They will turn on each other. They will betray their own, and you will watch as everything they thought they had burns to the ground. You threw a wrench in their game, and now they're scrambling to pick up the pieces. They're panicking. They're afraid. They can feel it. They can feel the end coming, and they know it's because of you. They know that everything they built is a house of cards, and you just blew on it, sending everything crashing to the ground. They won't admit it. They won't ever acknowledge it. But deep down, they know you were always the one who could destroy them. They just never saw it until it was too late. And now, as they watch their empire crumble, they will look for someone to blame. They'll point fingers. They'll scream. They'll try to make you the villain. But you know the truth. You didn't make them fall apart. They did that to themselves. They did that when they chose to play dirty, when they chose to play with lives like they were pawns in some sick game. They did that when they thought they could break you, when they thought they could crush you without consequence. They did that when they underestimated the power of someone who has nothing left to lose. They're already broken. They just don't know it yet. You've already won. They've already lost. It's only a matter of time before it all falls apart. And when it does, you'll be the one standing at the top. You'll be the one who sees it through to the end. Because you didn't play their game. You broke it. You didn't just survive the chaos. You thrived in it. They thought they had it all figured out. They thought they had the game in the bag. But you showed them that you don't need their rules. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval. All you need is yourself. All you need is the fire in your heart and the strength in your soul. And now, as they fall apart, as they realize that everything they've built is nothing more than sand slipping through their fingers, you can stand tall. You can look them in the eyes and know that you were always the one who was in control. You were always the one who had the power. You just had to wait for the right moment to strike, and you did. Now, they're scrambling. They're lost. They're falling apart. And you're just getting started. The game they thought they were winning, it's over. You've already won, and you didn't even have to break a sweat. The system they built, the empire they thought was untouchable, the networks of power they surrounded themselves with, it all crumbled under the weight of its own corruption. The cracks were always there, but they were too blind to see them, too arrogant to care. They were too caught up in their own delusions of grandeur, thinking that they could play God forever, thinking they could manipulate the world, bend it to their will, as if they were the masters of everything. But they didn't realize that there is always someone who's willing to stand up and disrupt that illusion. And now, they stand at the edge of a precipice, looking down at the abyss of their own making, with nothing but fear in their hearts and regret on their minds. They look at you, and they see the thing they feared the most, the one who exposed their weaknesses, the one who broke the rules of the game they played so well, the one who rose from nothing to take everything they thought they had in an instant. They see you, and all they can do is watch as you walk away with their empire crumbling in your wake. But here's the thing they'll never understand. You didn't play by their rules. You didn't even play their game. You just let them think they were in control, all the while moving in the shadows, gathering strength, waiting for the right moment to strike. And when that moment came, when they finally made the fatal mistake of underestimating you, you didn't hesitate. You acted. You moved fast, decisively, and with cold precision, throwing that wrench into their system and watching it all come undone. Now they're reeling, trying to figure out where they went wrong, trying to salvage what little is left of their crumbling empire. But deep down, they know it's over. They know that they can never recover from this. You've already broken them, and no amount of money, power, or influence will save them now. They can try to rebuild, they can try to reorganize, but it won't matter. The truth has been revealed, and once the truth is out there, it can never be put back in the box. You see, that's the thing about power. It's fragile. It's not something you can control forever. It's built on a foundation of lies, manipulation, and corruption. And once that foundation starts to crack, once those lies start to unravel, there's nothing left to hold it up. They thought they could control the game, but they didn't understand that the real power lies not in controlling others, but in being the one who doesn't need anyone else's approval to succeed. You didn't need their validation, their permission, their support. You stood on your own, and now you stand over the ruins of everything they thought they had built. And let's be clear, they didn't just underestimate you, they underestimated the world. They underestimated how fragile everything they thought they controlled truly was. They thought they had all the power, but what they didn't realize was that power isn't about money or status or alliances. It's about willpower. It's about resilience. It's about the ability to rise when everyone else expects you to fall. And you have that in spades. While they were busy trying to manipulate their way to the top, you were forging yourself into an unstoppable force. They never saw you coming. And now, they can't escape you. They will scramble, as they always do, to place the blame somewhere. They'll point fingers, accusing everyone around them of betrayal, of failure, of incompetence. They'll tear each other apart, looking for someone to blame for their downfall. But they won't look at themselves. They'll never admit that the reason they failed is because they were always too busy playing a game that was rigged from the start. They thought they could control everything, but the one thing they couldn't control was their own hubris. They thought they could break everyone around them, but in the end, it was they who were broken. And here you are, the one who saw the cracks before anyone else did. The one who was always 3 steps ahead. You didn't need anyone's help, didn't need to beg for anything. You built your own path, step by step, while they were too busy building theirs on sand. They thought their connections would protect them. They thought their money would shield them. They thought their influence would keep them safe. But none of that mattered. Not when it all came crashing down. The power they once held was never theirs to begin with. It was borrowed. It was stolen. They thought they could take it from others and make it their own. But what they failed to realize is that true power isn't something you can take. It's something you earn. And you earned it. Every drop of blood, every ounce of sweat, every moment of struggle, those were the building blocks of your success. You didn't steal anything. You didn't take from others. You built your empire from nothing, piece by piece, by your own sheer will, and that's something they could never understand. Now, as they watch it all slip through their fingers, they will try to salvage what's left. They'll try to make deals, to form alliances, to rebuild their networks, but nothing will ever be the same. They will always be looking over their shoulders, knowing that you're out there, knowing that you're still one step ahead, still lurking in the shadows, waiting for the next opportunity to strike. And the worst part for them is that they will never be able to stop you. They can't stop someone who doesn't play by their rules. They can't stop someone who understands that the game is already rigged and the only way to win is to break it entirely. And here's the thing they'll never get. Their loss is not your victory. It's not about taking something from them. It's about taking everything from them. It's about showing them that their power was always an illusion, that they were never in control. It's about proving that you don't need their systems, their networks, their rules. You can build your own. You can create your own destiny. And that's what you've done. You've built something stronger than anything they ever had, and now they're left watching as it all falls apart. But don't mistake this for a final victory. This is only the beginning. You've thrown a wrench into their game. Yes, you've broken their system. You've exposed their weaknesses. But that's just the first step. Now comes the real work. Now comes the time to build your own empire, your own vision. The world is yours for the taking. The same system that tried to break you is now your playground. You've proven that you can rise from the ashes, and now you have the power to reshape everything around you. And as you do, remember one thing. They're still out there, scrambling, desperate to rebuild what they once had. But you're already 5 steps ahead, and they'll never catch up. They're already falling apart. And you're just getting started. Everything up to this point has been nothing but a prelude, a mere warm-up to the real game you're about to dominate. What they didn't understand, what they will never understand, is that you've already surpassed the point of no return. You are no longer the underdog. You are no longer the one they can dismiss. You're the storm they can't outrun, the shadow they can never escape. You've seen their weakness, their fear, their insecurities, and you've used them all against them. And now they're paying the price for underestimating you. They might still try to claw their way back up. They might even gather their resources, try to rebuild their crumbling empire piece by piece. But it won't matter, because what they're missing is what you've always had. A clear vision, a relentless pursuit of what you desire, and a mental fortitude that they could never dream of. They're only just now realizing that the game has changed. The pieces on the board have shifted, the tables have turned, and no matter how hard they try, they'll never be able to find their footing again. They will never be able to reclaim the power they once thought they held. Do you see it now? Do you understand that the world has been waiting for you to take your place at the top? They thought they could control you. They thought they could manipulate the outcome, twist the rules, create traps to catch you. But they underestimated your resilience. They didn't understand that every obstacle they threw at you only made you stronger, more determined. They couldn't see that the deeper they pushed you into the shadows, the more it fueled the fire inside of you. And now, that fire has become an inferno, burning everything they once held dear. They don't know what's coming next. They don't know how close they are to being wiped off the face of the earth. Because you're not just coming for their power, you're coming for their legacy. You're coming for everything they've built, everything they thought they owned. You're going to rip it apart, piece by piece, until nothing remains but the shattered remnants of their once unshakable dominance. And the worst part? They'll have no one to blame but themselves. It doesn't matter how many powerful people they have in their corner, how many doors they can still open. It doesn't matter how much wealth they've accumulated, how many connections they've made. None of that matters anymore. The game has already changed. The rules have already shifted. The power lies in your hands now, and no one can take it from you. You've built yourself into something they can never defeat. You didn't need their approval. You didn't need their acceptance. While they were busy playing by the rules, you were busy breaking them. You didn't wait for someone to give you permission. You didn't need someone to open the door for you. You built your own door. You created your own path. And that's what they'll never understand. They were always looking for shortcuts. They always wanted the easy way out. But there is no easy way to power. There is no shortcut to greatness. There is only one way to the top, and that way is paved with struggle, with sacrifice, with the willingness to face every storm that comes your way and come out stronger on the other side. Now that they're at their lowest, now that they see everything slipping through their fingers, they might beg for mercy. They might try to make deals with you, offering you a piece of their broken empire, thinking they can buy back their survival. But don't be fooled. Mercy is for the weak. Mercy is for those who don't have the stomach to take what they deserve. You, on the other hand, are not here to show mercy. You're here to dominate. You're here to claim everything they've taken from others. You're here to take back the power they thought they could keep forever, to seize it for yourself. Do you feel the power coursing through you now? Do you feel the weight of everything you've endured, every struggle you've faced, finally paying off? The world doesn't understand you. They never have. They've always looked at you and seen a challenger, a disruptor, but they never saw the potential within you. They never saw the warrior that you were destined to become. They never realized that their downfall was inevitable because you were always going to rise. And now that you have, nothing and no one can stand in your way. They can try to put up a fight. They can try to regroup and rebuild, but you will be waiting. You'll be waiting for them to slip, for them to make the next mistake. You'll be watching, waiting to strike at the moment they let their guard down, because that's what real power is, being one step ahead, always anticipating their next move, always ready to break through their defenses when they least expect it. While they frantically try to restore what they've lost, you'll be silently crafting your next move. You'll be watching their every step, understanding the weaknesses they've shown, exploiting the cracks in their foundation. And when the time is right, when they think they've found a way to crawl out of the hole they've dug for themselves, you'll be there, ready, waiting, and you'll strike with all the force and precision of a predator closing in on its prey. There will be no mercy, no hesitation. You will take everything they have left. You'll finish what you started, and you'll do it with no remorse, because you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need validation. You don't need their applause. You're not in this for their approval. You're in this for the power. You're in this to take what's rightfully yours, to show them that the game was never in their favor, to prove that the strongest always rise and the weak always fall. And now, you're the one who's rising. You're the one who's in control. And the best part? This is just the beginning. What comes next will make everything up to this point seem like child's play. The world is your canvas, and you are the artist. You have the power to shape your own reality, to build your own empire from the ground up. And while they're busy licking their wounds, trying to pick up the pieces, you'll be expanding, growing, taking over every corner of the game. They'll never see you coming. And when they do, it will be too late. You've already won. You're already unstoppable. And they will be nothing but a footnote in the story you're writing. Because when you finally take what's yours, when you finally rise to your rightful place at the top, the world will look at you and know one thing. You are the force that no one could ever control, the power they could never crush, the storm they could never weather. And in the end, there will be no one left to challenge you. The game will be over, and you will be the one who stands victorious, as the world watches your rise in awe. In the end, they were always doomed to fall, because they never understood the true nature of power. You didn't need their rules, their validation, or their permission. You built your own path, your own destiny, and now you stand at the top, untouchable, unstoppable. The game they thought they controlled is over, and you've already won. They'll never catch up, because the world you've crafted for yourself is yours to rule. You threw the wrench into their game, and now they can only watch as you rise, unrelenting, unyielding, and ready to take everything that was always meant to be yours. The storm is here, and nothing can stop it.